Guys and gals, welcome back to the Backcountry Gear List, Rod Chronicles, the final portion of the worn gear. So worn, obviously, we've been showing you everything that you're going to have on you when you're actually hiking into where you're going to camp or where you're going to hunt or where you're going to fish. So I don't have all of the gear here because some of it is slightly just a tad different from what we showed you in the packed gear. So one of the things that is different is obviously you're hiking in. You're going to be hot. You're going to be sweating. It could be slightly chilly. It might be super warm. Depending on where you're going to be at, time of year. So some of this may change, but again, we're trying to base this on an early season hunt, August, September-ish, maybe October, depending on where you're at. But normally most of the early season type hunts normally happen in September. So September can go either way, where depending on the part of the country you're in, it could be 85 degrees and sunny, it could be 65 degrees and sunny, it could be 40 degrees and snowing or raining. The pack gear, you saw all of our screw gear, and now you're seeing another piece of screw that I have on right now. And this is actually the top that I would walk in with depending on temperature. So if I know it's going to be super, super hot, then I'm going to go with the short sleeve version of this shirt. This is the Kai Bob, the 125. There's a quarter zip, long sleeve, and it does have the thumb holes so I can get it, on me and cover my arms up. And that's a really big thing. So a lot of these backcountry gear lists that are out there show arm sleeves. Well, if you're going to wear arm sleeves, why wouldn't you just put on a long sleeve shirt? So this allows me the ability, if it's super sunny but not super hot, this is what I'm going to wear because it's protecting my arms from the sun. If I have to put my gloves on, I'm using my half finger merino wools. But so this top or the short sleeve scree Kai Bob, then you're going to go to the hard scrabble pant in gray. So I showed you the pant in Summit Camo, but they also have it in gray, and I believe right now you can actually get a pretty good deal on the gray ones. The only other thing, two other things that we haven't shown you, and I'm not about to whip out boxers or anything, but we talked about this a little bit in pack gear, but you're going to want a pair of merino wool boxers or briefs depending on what what you wear. I prefer long length boxers, so the leg goes down past my quad. They're more comfortable to wear. They provide me more warmth, and they also help wick away moisture. The only other thing besides your clothing, and again, this is a merino wool top. Same thing in the short sleeve. Just again, if you're gonna wear short sleeves but you want arm protection, go with the long sleeve. It's just easier. It's less stuff to pack and less stuff as far as weight. So the only other thing would be your watch. So I am a huge watch person. Some people don't like wearing them, but there's nothing worse in the backcountry than not to know what time of day it is. Unless you are really good at reading the sun, I suggest taking a watch. So we have on the list the core, the Sunto core. It's a little less weight and a lot less money. So the reason we put that on the list is, if you're looking for a watch that does a little bit of everything, Sunto, the core is pretty basic. It'll do GPS, it gives you time, it gives you a barometric pressure, and it gives you altimeter. I prefer to go to the Alpha Tactics, and that's the model that I have on my wrist right now. So I get a little more features. I can actually put a track in. It gives me barometric pressure. It does altimeter. It will actually connect to my phone. So if I need to, get information from the watch off my phone, I can. The core does not have that ability. The difference is this is a much bigger face with a steel bezel against the plastic bezel that comes on the core. So this one is about $200 more expensive, but this is the watch that I've worn it now for probably 3 years. And these are rechargeable, both the core, excuse me, the core is not rechargeable. This is rechargeable, so I can literally plug it in before I leave for a trip, make sure it's charged for 100%, and it normally lasts 12 to 14 days, where the core is a battery that obviously you can change. But so worn gear, you know, again, I go with the hardscrabble pant. Now, if it's summertime, I'm looking at like a mountain khakis type, you know, trail pant. Unfortunately, Scree doesn't make anything super light as far as a backcountry hiking pant aside from the hardscrabble. So that would be my only recommendation, is if it's not a hunting pant, look in the lines of some sort of higher end but good priced. You don't need to pay for a name. You know, a good pair of hiking pants, hiking tight pants that are water resistant or waterproof, that are very comfortable, because if you're hiking in, you know, 15, 20, 30, whatever the mileage may be, you want to be comfortable when you're hiking. That's the last thing you want, is to be uncomfortable when you're walking. So with this, it doesn't interfere with my initial ascent pack. You know, it's comfortable. There's enough air movement from the pack between my back and the pack, so that, you know, my back isn't full of sweat. Again, this is a merino wool, so it will wick away the moisture, and it does have the thumb hole. So if, you know, I do need to slide it down, I can get it over my thumb. It keeps it there, and that way when I have my wrist straps on from my trekking poles, they're not in the way. They're not bothering my wrist. They're not bothering my skin. And most of the time they wouldn't, again, because if you saw in the video, they do have that micro fleece liner inside the wrist strap, so it shouldn't bother your arm at all. So the Kai Bob top, hardscrabble pant, and the Sunto core rounds out our worn gear. So our total was $864 for all of our worn gear. That's using the Fugitive boot from Oslo, which is the most expensive out of the 3 shoes that we showed you. Using that boot, using the sunglasses, the hiker hunger poles, our boxers, a Sunto core, the accelerator socks from Scree, the hat-wise, sorry, forgot about the hat. So hat-wise, baseball type hat. Some guys like to run the big sun hats, which you can do. I'm more of a baseball hat type of guy, so I'm either going to wear my Rod Chronicles hat, or I'll throw my Scree hat on in Summit camo, which matches the camo that I'll be hunting in, and just use that as my sun hat. The only other thing we could possibly, you know, throw in is some type of neck gaiter, lightweight obviously because we're in early season, but just to keep the sun off your neck. Now the collar on this shirt, if you can see, goes up pretty high, but if you have a longer neck, or, you know, you keep this unzipped, having a little neck gaiter, whether it's a buff, it's one of those cool rags that they, you know, kind of makes it feel like it's chilled, to keep you cool while you're walking. Those are possibilities. We don't have it on the list, but it is a possibility that you want to throw in there. And if it added any weight, you know, it might be an ounce to 2 ounces and a couple bucks. But so we were at $864 at 4.8 pounds, 4.08 pounds, which is a total of 65.32 ounces. Okay, the list we went off of for their worn gear, again, this is just what we're hiking in with. Their entire weight was 85.86 ounces, which is basically 20 ounces, a pound and a little bit heavier than what we have. They were at $1,102. So we shaved off 200 and change, okay, money for the trip, and we saved about a pound in gear. So again, all through this list, we might have been a little bit better on price, a little bit higher in weight, a little more in price, a little bit less in weight, or about even. So on your worn gear, what you're hiking in with, we're down a pound, and we shaved, you know, $200 and something off the list that we're working against. So now we've got through my pack we've got through my sleep system, we've gotten through my packed clothing and my worn gear.